I can say he probably was like most kids, inquisitive, mischievous.
Robbie's like a real hyper kid, and he used to run around and like try to chase me. He'll definitely tell anybody that I used to beat him up, of course. And then one day he grew up big enough to beat me up.
Oh, he's a very active young boy.
I really enjoyed a lot of different things. I was huge into Pokemon, loved Pokemon. I loved Digimon, and I loved Dragon Ball Z.
He was always flexing and, always wanted to be a superhero.
My interests slowly started turning into the mixed martial arts, and if it wasn't for my sister's ex-boyfriend, I probably would have never got involved. I was young, I had no really any direction at that time. I was kind of a troublemaker. I was like a 14, 15-year-old scrawny kid, TPing houses, ding-dong ditching, all the random stuff that, kids do, but just being a nuisance, being a menace. And he would always tell me that I needed some sort of sport, some sort of foundation to get involved with. And I watched one of the first UFC fights. I watched The Ultimate Voice Gracie, actually, and I saw it on TV. I was amazed. I thought it was one of the coolest things I'd ever seen.
Eventually, he kind of ventured off and tried every sport, and the only one that really clicked was wrestling.
I hated wrestling, but I did it anyway. I did not enjoy it because at the time I was so into the UFC, I wanted to learn how to box and submit people, so I get yelled at in practice for trying to choke people. And after my 8th grade year of wrestling, I decided it was time to take it up a notch and get involved in mixed martial arts. It made me really want to get involved in something that was cool, something that made me feel a part of something bigger. Since my dad wasn't around a lot, I saw that as kind of a gateway to make friends and kind of look up to older people. Maybe in a certain way, I even saw it as to find like a father figure.
Growing up with two women, I'm sure it can make anyone a little but really I would say the driving force was definitely my brother really wanted to make a name for himself, and my dad definitely probably inspired him.
I started boxing. My dad took me to a gym over in Hyde Park.
His father was very much into boxing. I think it's because his father introduced Gary at a young age because his dad loved it, and I think it just passed on from one generation to the other.
It was that one class, Boxing for Fitness. We went there, we took one boxing class, and afterwards, like Rob Radford, who's the trainer there, was actually Rich Franklin's boxing trainer for a while. Pulled out these mats, he was like, "You guys want to do some jiu-jitsu?"
I started training on just an old, crappy wrestling mat they used to roll out inside the boxing gym. Me and my friend David Grimm, we started doing jiu-jitsu together.
Fell in love with it, man. He was so determined with everything, and really it was that, like, when we left, I was so tired and exhausted, and like I didn't even think about going back to the gym again. He wanted to go straight back in.
After a certain point, the fitness thing wasn't really what I wanted to do anymore, so I talked to a couple people at Rob's gym, and I said, where can I learn mixed martial arts? They told me to check out George Grishel's gym, which at the time was a brand new facility. They just moved into Westchester, and I had my mom take me up there. I went up there to try a jiu-jitsu class, and I fell in love. I just knew it was my passion. It put me in the right direction. It kept me out of trouble. I got to travel, compete a ton of places as a kid, and it was just a great thing for me.
None of my friends, no one else is like him when it comes to that, like mixed martial arts. It's like, no one else has that mentality, the drive, the determination. People in college who compete. I have friends that play college basketball, college football and stuff, and they all have trainers and people that cater to them and do everything for them, and he's doing everything by himself, and I admire that, and I really think that's like amazing.
My dad spent about 9 to 10 months in and out of a hospital. They were trying to get a grip on what he had, trying to figure out what was actually wrong with him. They eventually found out that he did have a blood disorder. It was really tough, but it was something that was probably still to this day one of the hardest things I've ever had to cope with, and I still am coping with it on certain levels, but I believe that everything happens for a reason, and throughout the whole period my dad was still very positive towards me and my sister and the family, and I think the hardest and the best part of everything was the last day of my dad's life was May 14th. We went to the hospital, the doctors called us and said, "Your dad's very, very ill." He had my sister and I come into the hospital, and he talked to us both. It was one of the most surreal moments of someone's life, pretty much seeing someone pass. The key thing out of everything that he said to me that really stuck to me was that love is forever, told me to never give up and to never give in. He knew I love fighting, and I told him, I can't promise that I will make it as a professional fighter. I was like, I will do everything in my ability. I will try my hardest. I will give it everything I have.
I think it's turned in a really positive influence because, some of the struggles that my dad went through, I think my brother really wanted to turn it around and kind of make a name for himself in a different way. And I think that's what drives him, and even more so today.
We always taught Robby to shoot for the stars, and that's exactly what he's doing. Nothing is going to hold Robby back. When he has something in his mind that he wants to accomplish and do, he doesn't stop.
All the high school students, everyone around was like making fun of him, doing all that. And he rose above it all, and he kept stuck with it, and he's actually really good at it and talented. And I think he's going to show off, come August 10th. So just really excited to see him.
Robby's a character, and on top of training, he does love to have fun. He loves to be silly, and I think people don't have to take him too serious because sometimes he's a lot more laid back than we all think.
I definitely just plan on keep on trucking through, even if people think what I'm doing is goofy or people think what I'm doing is ridiculous. Making a video, putting myself out there, pursuing a fighting career. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to be a success. I will fulfill what I told my father, and I will never give up on what I'm doing, and I'll never give in to anything.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed episode 3 of G Code. If you haven't seen episode 1 or 2, please click up here and subscribe for a new episode every Wednesday.